Hello and welcome to Games from Folktales, a podcast that mixes historical research and tabletop role-playing settings. I'm your host, Timothy Ferguson. This week, the Triops Plague. Notes from the dispatches of Aurelius of Mercure. 1228. The Magi of Kus have discovered a type of mite which eats viz. They were swarming about a mummy they uncovered in a freshly opened tomb. I am carrying samples of the magicophages to the Magi of Alexandria. 1229. Andrea of Bonasagus notes that the Triops mites have several fascinating properties. She first wishes to dispel the idea that they eat viz. Instead, the viz they were found crawling over was excreted by them. The most significant property to our military-minded Sedalas is that the mites have cumulative magic resistance. It is negligible for each mite, but when thousands are gathered, it detectably inhibits spontaneous spells. 1231. Actively farmed swarms sometimes suffer a colony collapse, and the mites eat each other, rapidly increasing in size as they ingest their hive mates. The resultant bugs are able to catch their smaller nest mates despite substantial difference in speed. Large Triopses have measurable but minor magic resistance. Andrea of Bonasagus has bound one of these creatures as her familiar. Her notes indicate several interesting properties. She can see ghosts now and has intuitions concerning the outcome of events. 1250. Andrea of Bonasagus disagrees, but I am sure of my observations, so I must formally report them to you, my prima. The mite farms weaken the auras in which they are kept. My concerns over the small size and rapid reproduction rate of the smaller mites continue to be ignored. Please, as a matter of urgency, consult the Order's records for similar creatures. 1252. It is with great sadness I report the death of Andrea of Bonasagus. Her familiar was set upon by a larger version of the creatures than previously observed. The sudden death of her familiar rendered her insensible and unable to defend herself. 1256. This message is inscribed into metal. I passed it through flame before sending it to you. At the death of Andrea of Bonasagus, her experiments went unattended. Her hives breached her sanctum's defences. They infested her covenant. As her Sedalas fled, they carried the contagion to other covenants, which gave them shelter. Alexandria Covenant is destroyed. The final Triops observed is a giant, covered in its tiny progeny. Quarantine Africa. The Triopses provide an alternative to the explanations for why orders of magicians rise and fall in European history, and why the epochs change so that the Titans go silent or the oracles fall silent. They are like Fermi's great filter, but for magical orders. At the largest level, one of the earlier orders may have found some way to deal with these creatures. Could it be, for example, that the entire realm of Fairy is a great engine designed to store the power needed to exterminate the Triopses? On a less cataclysmic level, careful magi could use the mites as weapons or as resources.